Hey guys, this is Locke. In this video, I'm going to be talking about Korvall. This is actually coming from the video that I made about UR Zazan, where I said that, hey, you know what, like if you don't get UR Zazan, Korvall is coming up and he is a wind sniper that's focused on accuracy, so he might be a good counter to UR Zazan. And I got a lot of comments saying that, hey, you know what, Korvall is not so popular in JP, and his attack is kind of low, so I don't know if he's going to be a good counter or not. And I didn't actually defend my point of view. The reason is because, I didn't play with Korvall. So the thing is, like, you guys might actually be right? Like, he might actually do way too little damage to Zazan, so that he might just not be a good counter. I can't say from experience that he was great or not, so I don't want to defend my point of view. Theoretically speaking, that's what I was thinking. But now that I have had a lot of chances to play with him, I used him all throughout the class match, I thought I would do another video talking about my build, and how I used him, and what I overall think of him. So let's start with the formation. I will go through my CM setup for him. So this is the CM setup that I used, because with a total cost limitation of 540, I'm just going to go over his passives. I think Concentrate would always be... Actually, sorry, I have to change this. I did not use Gunner, I used Nightblade sub. So I think Concentrate would always be a go-to passive for him, unless you very specifically want to limit his range because of auto battles where you don't want him to go up and shoot on the first turn or something. But I think like Concentrate, in like 8 out of 10 cases you would want to take it. The second mastery, there's a couple choices. I think long range might be a good choice as well, because the longer your range is, the more chances you have to hit somebody before they get to you. He is obviously not built for defenses or HP, so you want to have him take as many shots at the enemy as possible before they are able to take a shot at him, because if they take a shot at him, he will probably die in like one hit. But for me, I really liked the Nightblade mastery because of the increase in attack and accuracy. Now, whenever I build a unit, there is a purpose that I'm trying to fill for that unit, right? And for this CM, I expected to meet a lot of players that are using UR Zazan, and so I wanted a counter. And this was my hypothesized counter, Korvall. But I didn't know how good he really would be, but I had to build him in mind to be like, okay, this is the counter. He's going to be a counter to UR Zazan, so I had to build him in that way. So I wanted to increase his accuracy. So I gave him the accuracy passive with that in mind. And he already has a bunch of things that increases his accuracy already. So let's just go over that for a second. He has the Dispel Barrage, which increases his accuracy by an additional 30. So it's 30 from here, 30 from the Nightblade Mastery. And then he has the Focus Targeting. This increases the accuracy of everybody in a +1 range by 30. So he had 55 before, now it's plus 85 accuracy with this on. So that already puts him at 85 accuracy. And then you also have to look at his dexterity values as well. So he has the node that increases dexterity by 20% over here. And he has dex up. Actually, I could have raised this up even more. I left it at 1 because I hadn't double checked this. But this would probably go up to 30, so it would increase his dexterity by an additional 25 to what I had there. And that basically gives him already a ton of accuracy, right? With that setup, he was almost always able to hit a lot of enemies. He had very high chances to hit most enemies, unless they have a very, very specific evasion build in mind. Like, for example, if I would meet a team like this, right? So this team, actually, let me change this to agility card so that its evasion would be even higher. So a team like this has very, very high evasion, because you have all the evasion cards on UR Zazan. He has a 20 evasion, he has 35% luck, he has 15% agility, and then on top of that he has this TMR, which increases his luck by 35% additionally, and he has one of the highest luck in the game. So something like this, and he uses that TMR, then my Korvall, even with Dispel Barrage, would have not a high chance to hit him. Maybe he would have like 40% chance or 50% chance to hit him or something like that, which is not high, right? But in that case, he already comes with something else able to take that on. He comes with, sorry, I have to find the build. He comes with the True Striking Arrow, which is the skill. And this is a guaranteed hit. So, I mean, I had two options going in, right? Like, I didn't have to use Titus's necklace. I could have used something like the Alexandrite ring. I had a +5 one right here. Oops, where did it go? Right here. So I could have used this to increase his accuracy by an additional 40 from what I had. And, then I would have probably always had a very, very high chance to hit whatever enemies I came across, like regardless of what their evade setup was. But I mean, I didn't have to do that because I was thinking that, if they're going to go so much into evasion, they're giving up something else, right? Like, for example, in the team I just showed you, if they're doing this, like they're giving up offense. I mean, they have this card here for 25 physical attack, but they're giving up the solitary lion card that I had equipped before. So they had to give that card up to get the agility card. So they're already making sacrifices to bring up their evasion. And what sacrifice am I really making? I'm not really doing anything, because I already have a skill that gives me 100% guaranteed hit. So there's no need for me to go for the Alexandrite ring. Most of the time, Dispel Barrage will have a very high percent to hit enemies anyway. But if they're going to go so much into evade, I have something else to attack that. So I don't need to focus on accuracy even more by giving the Alexandrite ring. I could give him the Titus necklace. And the reason I'm giving him Titus's necklace is because his dexterity value is very high, which is giving him very high critical chance. So by giving a +15 critical damage accessory, that increases his damage. So one of the concerns that I faced in the video that I made before was that his attack is low. And you know what? His attack is low if you compare it to most characters. It's on the lower end. But I think, ranged units in general are supposed to have a lower attack because they can attack from range. Like, imagine you have somebody doing Dwayne's damage from 8 range. Like, how are you supposed to approach that, right? Frederica gives so much trouble to everybody, but her attack is actually supposed to be on the lower end. She has things like missile penetration now, which increases their damage, but as a flat attack, I mean, it's higher than Korvall's, but it's still lower. It's on the lower end. Nivlu's is even lower than Korvall. I mean, she's only level 99, but she does so much damage, right? Now, these are not the type of units that you expect to one-shot enemies. You are supposed to be kiting enemies. You're supposed to be keeping them at range and two-shotting them. Because having a unit that can one-shot you from 8 spaces away is pretty much broken. And he is still able to one-shot a lot of units that are, not built for defense, not built for HP, especially like Earth units that are like DPS type units, not bruisery, not tanky. Yeah, he can one-shot those. But, like most units, and these days in like class match and things like that, most units have a shield or something, so he will not be able to one-shot through that. Yeah, he has a barrier, but then if they use a shield plus like a missile resistance, missile resistance buffs or something, he can't remove everything at once. So he has to use his Dispel Spread, and then he has to use his Barrier Break, and that's basically 2 hits. So he won't be one-shotting them. But I don't think he's supposed to. Like, I think it would really be broken if you got all these like range units that can one-shot you, even if you're like a bruiser, if you're built as a bruiser and they one-shot you from 8 spaces away. I think that's kind of broken. So I think he's fine. I think like the damage that he has is fine for his role. He's supposed to be played as a unit that keeps his distance. So Sniper is one of my favorite classes. Actually, my 2 favorite classes in the game are Sniper and Nightblade, and he has both of those. Like, I'm using Sniper on his main job, and I'm using Nightblade on his sub job. And I think there's something very distinct about these 2 units. These 2 classes. I think they are fantastic for manual PvP, but I think they are terrible for auto PvP. And the reason I think they're terrible for auto PvP is because they do so many things. And in an auto PvP setting, like the auto just follows a set of rules. If you leave every skill enabled, it already chooses the skills that it uses, right? Like it'll do the most damaging skills whenever it gets a chance. It doesn't really care about the secondary effect. As a manual player, I can choose to use slow arrow, but if it's an auto and it's like, oh, dispel spread is going to do more damage, I'm going to use dispel spread, right? So same thing with Nightblade Mastery too, especially the buffs. Like it has some really good skills, some really good buffs. Like AP Drain is a game changer, right? Because this can basically shut down enemies that are getting close to you. But when is the AI going to use this? Never, right? And then Drain Rush, like if I'm using it with like another wind and element unit, I wasn't in this match. That's why it's only at level 1. But I can chain something and like not only am I breaking the barrier, I can chain it, and then I will have a 3 combo wind chain to one shot something else, right? So it's very good, and the buff double resist is also very good, like plus missile resistance, plus piercing resistance. The problem that I have with Nightblade in general in like auto PvP settings is that it uses usually these units have so many buffs that you have to make a call before the battle starts to which buffs to turn on and which buffs to turn off, and then it doesn't really go, like it's not optimized for the match, right? So like I don't think, if you are mainly a auto PvP player, Korvall is not going to be keeping his distance. Like he's going to attack and then he's going to stand there, right? Like if he has a chance to hit the enemy, he will just stand there, and then the next turn the enemy will come up and one shot him. So he's not the type of unit that you want to use if you're using in auto PvP, unless you set him up in like some like very robust testing and you figure out some kind of way to make him work, which will take a lot of time and practice and trial and error. I mean, it's possible. I'm sure it's possible to do. I've done it before with Nivlu, for example, and Nivlu is kind of very similar, right? Like I have managed to use her very well in auto PvP setting, but it took a long time to like do play testing and like maybe like 20-30 different battles of trial and error to get her to that point. So it's the same thing with Korvall. Like I think if you want to go for a auto battle unit, I think there are so many other units that can fill that role. But for like a manual PvP, which is what I'm really looking for and really interested in, I think he fills his role well, and that is basically an anti-evasion sniper. Like he does enough damage to be threatening, right? Like if you are Zazan, let's go to UR Zazan for a second, and I'm going to go with this build that I have here just to see what his HP is. So he has like 6k HP. So if I can hit UR Zazan for say like 5k, 5.5k, which is often what I was hitting with Korvall. Like he's not one-shotting UR Zazan, but if he's hitting it for say 5.5 to 6k HP, then I can follow that up with Frederica, because Frederica is not like, if she does 1k to 1k to 500 damage on UR Zazan, she typically does more. But if that's what she does, Zazan is not going to care, because he has 3 lives, and then you have to hit him like 3 times to kill him, so you have to hit him at least 5 times to kill him. Frederica and Nivlu will have a very hard time to kill him. But if Korvall can easily take off most of his HP, and then Frederica can follow up with whatever attack, say like a sharpshoot, I can easily control Zazan now, right? Because now he has 2 more hits, and those 2 hits can be like a normal attack from Frederica or anybody. Like it doesn't have to be a second and third attack from Korvall, because Zazan, when pops Courage, he only has 1 HP, and then when he pops Re-Raise, he has like 10% HP or something. So that can very easily be dealt with. I don't need high damage for that. It's just taking like either I just have to take care of most of his HP with Korvall, and then I have to move back. And I mean that worked. I mean I've played so many UR Zazans. I won against all of them, although again in some cases it was luck, because when they came to attack me, Frederica reflexed, and then that was a game changer. something like that, or sometimes they missed a hit or I missed a hit or something. Luck is definitely involved in the game, but over the 40 matches, I only lost twice, and um, so I think, overall, Korvall was a pretty good counter to Zazan if I paired him with somebody else that also has high accuracy. So with both of them, I can control Zazan. Like getting, say, 4 hits from Korvall before Zazan kills Korvall is hard. Because I'm assuming if Korvall doesn't one-shot Zazan, I have to hit him twice to pop Courage, and then I have to hit him once to, pop Re-Raise, and then I have to finally kill him. So 4 hits. And getting all 4 hits in while moving back is very difficult, especially if Zazan happens to pull his counter and gets haste on himself. Korvall will probably die. But if I pair him with Federica, now both of them only have to hit him twice. So I can hit once with Korvall, move back. I can hit once with Federica, move back. And then when Zazan comes up, I can usually finish him off. And that's usually what I did. So, I think he is. I think especially in like the manual PvP scene, I think Korvall is very, very good. I plan to use him a lot more in the oncoming CMs, because I really like Nivlu. Pairing him with Nivlu I think will be like a very strong pair. I'm still waiting for her to get her EX as well, so I don't know if I'm actually going to go with him and Nivlu. We'll see what I'm thinking later on, but I definitely think he's a solid pick for class match for like manual type battles. I don't think he's so good for auto battles because of the reasons I said before. Some of the concerns that I heard about him was that he doesn't have a limit burst, and I think that's okay because there are so many units that have limit burst that we don't really use. However, I think his like job 25 skill True Striking Arrow has a very high modifier. It has a modifier of 200%, which is similar to the modifier of these limit bursts. So it does the damage of a limit burst, and it's guaranteed hit, which I think is good because there are like if I didn't have this guaranteed hit unit, if I didn't have this guaranteed hit skill on Korvall, I am 100% sure that I will always put Alexander Ring because I don't want, like, he is there to control these evasion units. I don't want to run into a match where suddenly the unit has so much evasion that Korvall can't hit him. I want to be very sure that no matter what the enemy is preparing, Korvall will be able to hit him. And so because he has that guaranteed hit skill, I don't need to take this ring anymore. I can I can put something else. Like if I wanted more defense or more missile resist, because I think I'm going to be fighting against missile teams, I can put either where is it? Either this one for 3 turns of 25% missile resist, or I can put the platinum robe for 10% missile resist, or something like that. Like I have other choices that I can put on him. So let me just talk about the Esper for a minute, because people also asked me about the Korvall build, like how am I building him, how am I using him. So for the Esper, this is how I built it. I didn't take any evasion nodes because he's not really built as an evasion tank. I took all the accuracy nodes. I took all the wind attack. I took all the missile attack nodes. And then I took Earth Eater, because I expected to meet so many Earth units in the class matches, so I wanted an extra boost to kill them faster, basically, right? I didn't really see anything else I could have taken that's better than that. So I felt that was the best thing to do with the rest of my points for this class match. But that's how I built my Korvall. If you guys have other questions or comments, or other suggestions, I guess, let me know. There's an alternate build that I was using for a while, and that looked something like this, with that card here and Leona's Castle here. Sorry, not Leona's Castle. I was using this one, the Woe of Love, and I was using the Bomb Esper. So that's still 540, right? Or I could have used something like where's Leona's Castle? Here it is. So Leona's Castle and this, something like this. So I went through different variations, but the one that I showed you with with the Ifrit VC and the Horncastle. Horncastle gives him pretty high stats as well. It gives him 92 attack, which is pretty good for a R rank card, and it gives him a 30% additional attack on the bestowed effect. So it's pretty good, right? Yeah, I mean, like, there are different variations of the build that you can play, but the reason I picked that build was because I think it benefits the whole team more. Like right now, Tetrasulfate's VC is only benefiting Korvall. Like it doesn't really benefit the others. And then Leona's Castle, I mean, it's giving 15 defense and spirit to Mont, but it's not really doing anything else for the other two. So it's kind of like 3 units that are good by themselves, but the VCs don't. Like Frederica's Dream is good for both Korvall and Frederica, but I felt like this was an overall worse composition than this one. That's why I went with it. But I mean, you could play around and see what you like if you are, if you want to test it out. I mean, not everybody has the exact same units that I have or the same espers that I have. So just see what works, and maybe hopefully this is a good starting point if you want to see a good Korvall build. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and I hope to see you on the next one. Take care, guys.